example here, and I'll kind of give you guys a better indication of how to use a tool. So if I do a multi-section slot, I click on this one and this one. You need to make sure that the closing point. Let me replace it and put it like over here. Okay. If I had that selected, it will throw an error. Okay. It'll kind of say can't do it. Right. Sweep operator problem. And then it'll show a preview of what's going on. So it'll show that it's twisted. Right. In order for this thing to work appropriately, you need to make sure that the closing point is at the same spot on both sketches. Okay, so you come in here, right click on it and do replace, and select the corner that it corresponds to.
So you right click.
And there you go.
Where did you right click?
Just right click on the closing point. Right click there, replace, grab the point, and you'll notice there's a little red arrow that's associated with the closing point. You need to make sure both of those arrows are pointing in the same direction as well. So those are the only two stipulations.
How do you change the direction?
Just double click on it. See? So now it's all twisted, right? So I can come back in there. I can double click on the arrow, make sure it goes the same direction. So here and here, and then if I hit preview, it'll fix it. So you can take cross-section cuts all along this thing, and then you can multi-section, and it will kind of loft and change its taper as you go out with those different sections. So that's another way that you can do this. The multi-section tool is very useful because it just grabs where the sketches are, and so if you parametrically constrain your sketches to be a certain distance using like your skeleton length, those sketches will move with the update, and the multi-section solid will automatically change the taper so that it will fit. So it's a really awesome tool to use when you have that type of situation. Anyway, so and then you'll need to, you've already brought this part in from your skeleton. You'll need to make sure that when you go into your skeleton, I don't have one right now, but if I go into product, so I'll add, like I've got my skeleton, we'll say I've got a skeleton in here. So say that this was my, come on. There we go. So say I've got a skeleton right here, and for some reason this part represented the length of my control arm. Then I can come up to my product, and I can add an existing component. Come in here and grab the Catia part. In fact, I don't think I've saved it, so let me go back to window here. And so I can save this wherever I need to, right? I can come in here and go to my groups folder. 471 Catia. I'll just save it right there, right? So there's my car arm cat part. It's no longer an IGES. And then I can go to my product and make sure that that option is turned on. Has to be on. Every time.
Is there a way that you can change any preferences that it turns on automatically?
It should. I have no idea why it's not. So it's frustrating. Make sure that's always turned on when you first start your work. We are getting TCE up.
Oh, really?
And so if we can get that up within the week, we should be able to have all the Catia stuff inside of TCE. And so it should automatically keep the links automatically.
Okay.
So anyway, so you're bringing that part in. Let's see, where's mine? Mine's in the Catia, car arm. There's my part. So then I can, when I'm creating these sketches, originally I can open up my IGES inside the part that already exists, and I can just start drawing my geometry and constrain it to the skeleton that's in there. So now that I'm inside this part, I might want to come into this part, and maybe do like a projection so that I can bring the skeleton geometry into the part. So we can come down here to, let's see, what is it, that plane right there, do a sketch, and then we can do a projection. Just grab that. All right, so there's my skeleton geometry. And then as I'm doing all of the geometry, like if none of this existed yet, I would have still had this. So I just brought that into the part, and then I can start creating sketches using either the sectioning tools or just kind of eyeballing it. And as I'm doing those sketches, I want to make sure I constrain this to the skeleton or use the parameters from the product to make sure that this thing updates parametrically. So as long as you bring it into the part that already exists and have the skeleton in there and just do that, you don't have to worry about recreating a skeleton or anything like that, right?
So we have to parameterize this for the homework?
Yeah, for the homework part. For the in-class assignment, you don't. You just need to recreate it. So obviously you probably want something a little bit better than what I've got here, but we're not expecting something like super intense, super accurate. It's got everything, the right parameters and everything. We just want to see that you guys can do the process of recreating the part with just the ID stuff. Eventually, they will have a button in here that you can click and it will draw the part for you again. But right now they don't, because this is actually only been developed in like the last 2 or 3 years. This is a very new technology. So that's what we expect for the homework. You guys have got an hour, so I'm going to work with Eric to just kind of help you guys with whatever questions you might have, and then hopefully you guys can kind of get the process down. Oh no, not the tutorial one. Just the rocker arm, which should technically already be created anyway. So all you have to do is import the IGES into the part file, and then just recreate the part. And you already have a skeleton in there, so just use the skeleton for your stuff, and then just delete the old stuff, or just do a save as the original part. Yeah. Let me point something else out to you guys. So when you guys have already got your skeletons up for your car, making an assumption that you've already done that. All you have to do is bring the IGES stuff into the part file that already exists that you used. And so the skeleton geometry is already there, so you can recreate the part using the IGES and just constrain it to the skeleton that's already existing. Just do a file save as for that part, so that way you have a copy of the original, because in 2 weeks we're going to start doing design reviews at the beginning of class for every lab from here on out, and you guys are going to show the progress of the vehicle to Dr. Jensen. So, and to each other. So that way you can kind of make sure that you're on track. He can give you guys suggestions on what you might need to work on during the week to kind of get up to speed, make sure you're on track for things. This first presentation, it should be, is it a week from today or 2 weeks from today? I think it's 2 weeks from today. But the first presentation is just going to be a brief PowerPoint showing how your team's organized. It should show your skeleton for your vehicle, as well as some parts that are actually going in there. And it might be nice to kind of show at least 1 or 2 topology optimized parts that are, in there. So you might want to take a screenshot of your assembly before you do the optimization for the part, and then do a screenshot after, and that way you can point it out in your design review saying, hey, we've done some topology optimization for one of our parts, and we've got it integrated into our skeleton, 1 down, 5 to go, that kind of thing. So, anyway, but you have all the tools now that you need, so I'm going to turn the rest of the time over to you guys for the next hour to just ask questions, get the process going, make sure you're comfortable with it, and Eric and I can walk around and just kind of help you guys troubleshoot and make sure that you're all up to speed on it too.